My child, a conspiracy is unfolding. A plan has been made, not for theft, not for a heist, but for murder. Yes, my child, and I am here to expose it before it's too late. Because if I stay silent now, something irreversible will happen, and what's coming will try to undo what I have built in you. The target has already been chosen. And it's not a stranger. It's someone you know. Someone close. Someone whose face you've seen today, whose voice you've heard, whose presence feels safe to you. But what if I told you, that person, the one right beside you, has been marked for death? And the question that shakes heaven itself is, why? Why that person? Why now? And who is behind this terrifying plan that is moving in silence while you're unaware? Everything, my child, will be revealed in this message. Stay till the end, because if you leave halfway, you might miss the one key detail that could save a life. Let's begin. You see, my beloved, this conspiracy didn't start today. It began long before you even felt anything was wrong. It started quietly, like a whisper behind closed doors, like a shadow behind your footsteps. At first, it looked harmless. Just a few strange moments, some tension, an unexplainable heaviness in the air, a conversation that didn't feel right, or a dream that disturbed your sleep. You brushed it off. You thought, it's just my imagination. But it wasn't. Because even while you were trying to make sense of it, a plan was being formed in a place you could not see. A plan written not with ink, but with dark intent. It was midnight when the first movement began in the unseen world. The wind changed. Even the angels noticed it. There was a vibration, not of music, but of disturbance. Something unholy had been released. And though the earth was asleep, heaven was awake. A light in the upper realm began to flicker, and that's when one of my strongest angels, Zahariel, the watcher of gates, sensed that something had slipped past the border of light. He called out, "My Lord, a presence has crossed the boundary that separates day from night." I turned and said, "Bring it before me." And what he brought was a scroll, cold, black, and burning at the edges, as if light itself refused to touch it. When he laid it before my throne, every angel in the hall went silent. The golden lamps dimmed. Because they all knew, nothing from that side should ever reach this one. Zahariel said, "My Lord, it came with no messenger. It wrote itself." And when I looked closer, I saw movement, yes, movement, inside the scroll. It was not written with words, but with living shadows. They twisted, changing shape, forming names, 2 names. The first name glowed. The second trembled in darkness. I touched the scroll, and it whispered. It said, "The time is near. One must fall for the other to be reached." And my child, do you know what the first name was? It was yours. Yes. Your name. Written in light so bright that even the darkness tried to hide from it. You may not understand yet, but this message came to you because of that name. Heaven never sends warnings without cause. But don't panic. Because this is not about your death. It's about your destiny. You are not the one marked for death. But someone close to you, someone you share your space with, your laughter with, maybe even your secrets, is in danger. That's why I had to speak to you directly. Because the attack that's planned isn't physical first. It's spiritual. It's a strike meant to weaken you through grief, confusion, and shock. If the enemy cannot reach you, it will try to destroy the one who guards you. And that's when heaven intervened. Listen carefully. When your name appeared on that scroll, I summoned Archangel Michael, the commander of light. His eyes burned with fire. He looked at me and said, "Is it true, my lord?" Has the darkness found their name again? I nodded. And I told him, they have tried to find a way in, but they will fail, as always. Yet, this time, they are not coming for my child directly. They are coming for the one I appointed to protect them. Michael bowed his head. And the room shook as he spoke. Then heaven will move before harm touches your servant. But I said, wait. Let them expose themselves first. Let them believe they have a chance, because when light strikes, it will strike every corner of their plan. That's why I'm telling you this now, my child. Because even though heaven is already fighting for you, you must be aware. You must be spiritually alert. The one they seek to harm, the one they have marked, is not a person in flesh. It's your protector. Your guardian spirit. The being assigned to shield you since the day you were born. Every near-death escape, every lucky moment, every strange coincidence that saved you, none of them were random. They were his work. When your car should have crashed but didn't, he was there. When sickness entered your house but couldn't stay, he was standing at the door. When tears tried to drown you in the night, he whispered hope into your dreams. His name, in heaven's tongue, is Elyon, the defender of the dawn. He is mighty, radiant, and loyal beyond understanding. But now, the enemy knows his name. And that's why this plan has been made, not to kill you, but to strike him, hoping that without your shield, you will fall. But I, the Lord of hosts, say to you today, that plan will fail. Before the enemy ever wrote their first word, I already wrote your victory. Before they whispered your name in darkness, I had already shouted your destiny in light. Elyon will not fall. You will not be touched. Because heaven has surrounded both of you with a new wall of protection. Even now, as you listen, angels are moving. Winds are shifting. The unseen realm is responding to this very message. Do you feel that chill on your skin? That sudden heaviness lifting off your chest? That's not coincidence. That's the sound of spiritual chains breaking. That's the sound of your covering being renewed. But my child, I need you to do something, right now. Place your hand over your heart and say this slowly, I am covered. My guardian is protected. No weapon formed against me will stand. As those words leave your lips, the light expands around you. And Elyon, your protector, feels strength returning to his wings. The darkness that planned his fall trembles. Because the moment truth is spoken, lies collapse. The moment faith rises, fear flees. Now let me reveal to you why this plan was made. You see, darkness does not waste effort on the weak. It targets the strong. And you, my child, have become stronger than you realize. Every prayer you've spoken, every time you stood back up after falling, every act of kindness you gave when others chose hate, all of it created light. And that light has drawn attention. Your name shines in the spiritual realm. Not because of wealth or fame, but because of your faith. Because even when you felt forgotten, you still believed. Even when you cried in silence, you still hoped. Even when everything around you screamed, give up, you whispered, I'll try again. That kind of faith terrifies hell. And that's why this conspiracy began, to silence that light. But what they don't understand is this: the more they attack you, the brighter you become. The more they curse you, the higher you rise. Because I have placed resurrection power inside your spirit. You can't be destroyed, only refined. You can't be cursed, only covered. You can't be stopped, only strengthened. This plan against your protector was their final attempt to break your shield. But now, because you know, the tables have turned. They have been exposed. And when darkness is exposed, it loses power. My child, look around you. Have you noticed how certain things have been happening lately? Strange emotions? Sudden exhaustion? Unexpected arguments with people close to you? These are not ordinary. They are distractions, meant to keep your eyes off the real battle. But now, you will see clearly. Because I am removing the fog that has been clouding your discernment. From this day, you will sense when something isn't right. You will feel when someone carries a wrong spirit near you. You will dream, and your dreams will show you what to pray for. Yes, my child, the prophetic gift within you is awakening. Because the best way to stop a conspiracy is to see it before it moves. And from tonight onward, I will speak to you in whispers, in visions, in small signs, to guide you, protect you, and prepare you. But before this first part ends, I want you to know this truth: you are not in danger, you are in transition. What feels like an attack is actually a repositioning. Heaven is not panicking, heaven is planning. You are being shifted into a new realm of purpose. That's why the warfare feels stronger, because the enemy attacks hardest before promotion. You are not losing, you are being prepared for a divine upgrade. A new level of light. A new authority. A new chapter of your calling. And soon, you will look back and realize, what the enemy meant for death became your awakening. The conspiracy was not the end of your story, it was the beginning of your revelation. My child, the hour that followed was unlike any hour heaven had seen in years. Because the moment you spoke those words, I am covered. My guardian is protected. Something powerful shifted across the realms. Your voice may have sounded small on earth, but in the spirit, it was thunder. It echoed through the chambers of light. And that echo woke every sleeping angel assigned to your destiny. In an instant, heaven stirred. The golden trumpets that announced divine war began to hum softly, not for destruction, but for defense. And at the center of that movement stood Elyon, your guardian. He stood on the edge of the veil that separates your world from the unseen. His wings burned with white fire, his eyes like dawn breaking after the longest night. But even as he stood tall, he felt the darkness pressing against him. It wasn't just one enemy. It was many, a legion that had been waiting for a signal. The conspiracy had reached its final phase. The enemy believed this was their moment, the perfect hour to strike. But what they didn't know was that heaven had already prepared its counterattack the moment you began to listen. Elyon lifted his sword, a blade made of pure radiance, forged from the very light that once separated day from night. When he raised it, the darkness hissed and withdrew for a second. But then it came again, faster, stronger, determined. Out of the void came figures, not men, not beasts, but forms of living shadow. Their eyes burned red, their movements silent, their purpose single, to pierce the light that surrounded your name. One of them hissed, "The human has been protected too long. Bring down the shield." They moved in waves, clawing, pushing, biting at the barrier. But each time they touched it, flames erupted, the flames of prayer, the strength of your faith, the power of every tear you ever cried that heaven counted as intercession. You didn't know it, but your had built walls stronger than iron, higher than stone. Every time you said, "I trust you," when life didn't make sense, a brick was placed. Every time you forgave instead of retaliated, the mortar strengthened. Every time you chose love over revenge, heaven laid another layer of protection. And now, those walls stood unshakable. Elyon shouted, "By the name of the Most High, this child is sealed." And his voice thundered. The darkness trembled. But then, from among the shadows, one greater than the rest emerged. Tall, cloaked, ancient. Eyes that carried centuries of hatred. A voice that once echoed in heaven but was silenced by pride. He said, Elyon, you again. You think your loyalty will save them? You think you can stand forever between my reach and this fragile human? Elyon's wings flared. They are not fragile. They carry his image. That alone makes them stronger than you will ever be. The creature's laughter shook the ground. We will see about that. Then, in one sudden motion, the creature lifted a hand, and the air around Elyon darkened. It was like a storm made of memories, painful moments, old regrets, hidden fears, all swirling into one giant force. Heaven called this weapon the weight of the past, because that's what the enemy uses most often against God's children. Not new weapons. Old wounds. Past mistakes. Shame. Fear. Regret. That's what the enemy tried to throw at your guardian, the very emotions that once made you doubt yourself. The enemy thought, if I can make the guardian weak through the human's doubt, the wall will break. But Elyon knew better. He turned his gaze toward your soul, yes, even while you were unaware. And he whispered, rise in faith. Do not let your past feed your fear. I stand because you believe. In that moment, something inside you stirred, maybe you felt your heartbeat quicken, or a sudden warmth in your chest, or an urge to whisper a prayer. That was your spirit aligning with your guardians. And when you did, Elyon smiled. Then, with one great swing, his sword cleaved the air. The darkness split open. The Ancient One stumbled backward, screeching, no. This can't be. The human isn't strong enough to sustain this. But he was wrong. Because you weren't fighting alone. Every prayer ever prayed for you, by your mother, by your ancestors, by friends who whispered your name in their tears, rose up at once. They became light. They became soldiers. They became a river of fire that poured from heaven into Elyon's blade. The conspiracy began to collapse. Every contract written in darkness began to burn. Every plan of harm turned to ash. Every whisper of death was silenced by the sound of your faith. But the story doesn't end there, my child. When the last of the shadows fled, the heavens opened. Archangel Michael himself descended, radiant, burning like 1,000 suns. He approached Elyon and said, the child's name is safe. The scroll is destroyed. But there is more. The root must be cut off. Elyon nodded. Show me where. Michael stretched his hand and revealed a vision, a thread, thin as smoke, connecting the enemy's power to a source on earth. And that source, my child, was a place, somewhere physical, familiar to you, but recently filled with unease. It could be a location you pass daily. A workplace. A home corner. A conversation circle. That's where the whispers began. That's where envy, jealousy, and bitterness created an open door. And through that door, the dark conspiracy entered. But Michael said, the door can be shut by choice. By truth. By confession. By light. So now, heaven gives you instruction. If you want this plan fully destroyed, listen closely. 1. Speak peace over your surroundings. Don't curse, don't fear. Say, only light can stay here. 2. Anoint your space, not with ritual, but with prayer. Walk through your room, your home, your workplace, and say, this place belongs to God. Every shadow must leave. 3. Bless those who envy you. Because when you bless them, their poison cannot touch you. 4. Thank your guardian. Because gratitude strengthens his wings. Every thank you adds armor to him. Do this, and watch the difference. Peace will fill what used to feel heavy. Sleep will return where fear once sat. And those who planned your downfall will suddenly find themselves confused, arguing, turning against each other, because what was built in darkness cannot stand in unity once light appears. Now, my child, I want you to know this truth: every battle you face is not punishment, it's preparation. You are being trained to carry light into places where others see only shadow. The reason the enemy fears you so much is not because of what you have, but because of who you are becoming. You carry a divine spark that cannot be replicated. And that spark is now awakening into full flame. Elyon stands stronger than before. He is no longer just your protector, he is now your partner in destiny. You and he move as one. Where you go, heaven follows. Where you speak, light travels. And when you pray, the darkness shakes. But don't stop here. The enemy still watches. He studies your patterns, waiting for moments of weakness. But you must respond not with fear, but with wisdom. Here is your instruction for the next days: guard your peace. Don't entertain gossip or negativity. Stay silent when provoked, silence is your shield. Pray before every decision. Even small ones. Heaven will guide you with clarity. Keep your heart pure. Don't let bitterness reopen doors that were sealed. If you do this, the light around you will grow so strong that even the darkest spirit will flee at your approach. Because the truth is, you are no longer the same. You have shifted dimensions. You have crossed from victim to victor, from fear to authority. And heaven recognizes your name among those marked with light. When Michael finished his work, he turned to Elyon and said, "The war for their name is over. But the journey of their purpose has just begun." And Elyon looked down upon you, still unaware, still wondering why you suddenly felt peace where there used to be worry. He smiled, because he knew, you had survived what was meant to end you. He rose higher, spreading his wings across your horizon, and whispered, "Rest, my child. You are safe. The scrolls of death have been erased. Your name shines again in the book of life." At that moment, a breeze passed you. Maybe it touched your cheek. Maybe it moved your curtains. That wasn't random. That was Elyon passing by, sealing you with peace. Heaven rejoiced. The conspiracy was over. The plan for murder had been turned into a miracle of mercy. And do you know what heaven called that day? They called it the night the human fought with heaven and won. Because through your faith, the impossible became possible. But now, my child, something new begins. You have entered a higher level of awareness, and with it, new responsibility. The same light that protected you will now protect others through you. You are called to speak hope, to release truth, to carry peace into spaces filled with fear. This is not just survival, this is awakening. Stay close, my child. Don't miss the final revelation. My child, the war has ended. The scroll of death has been burned. The angels who fought for you have returned to their posts, wings folded, eyes watchful, ready for their next command. The battlefield is silent now, but the silence is holy. It's not the silence of defeat. It's the silence of completion. Of victory. Heaven has recorded what just happened. Your name now carries a new seal, the seal of survival. It is placed upon the faithful, those who stood when others bowed, those who trusted when everything seemed lost. And you, my child, have been counted among them. The conspiracy that began in the dark has become your crown in the light. Because what the enemy meant to destroy you has actually defined you. Your trials have become proof of your strength. Your pain has become prophecy. Your tears have become testimony. And now, your reward is about to begin. Let me show you what happened right after Elion struck his final blow. As the shadows broke and fled, their fragments fell into the lower realm. But each fragment carried the memory of their failure. Every fallen whisper echoed, the human stood firm. The light did not break. Even hell itself trembled at that confession. And in heaven, a light brighter than the sun expanded, it was your guardian returning. Elion rose higher, carrying with him the remnants of the scroll that once bore your name in danger. Now it glowed gold, transformed from a curse into a promise. He laid it before my throne. I looked at it and said, "It is finished." Then, I turned to the host of heaven and spoke, "What was written against them is now written for them. What was meant for pain is now the path of blessing. What was stolen will now return sevenfold." And in that moment, angels began writing, yes, writing, a new chapter of your destiny. They wrote words like increase, restoration, honor, breakthrough, clarity, and peace. Every word sealed with light. Because you didn't give up when you could have, heaven has decided to accelerate your reward. My child, I know you've waited long. I know you've prayed until your voice grew tired. I know you've wondered, when will it be my turn? When will things finally work out for me? That time is now. You are stepping into a new season that will not look like your past. Your former pain will not follow you. The same doors that rejected you will soon open on their own. Because the warfare that surrounded your name was proof that something great was near. Do you remember how storms gather before a sunrise? That's exactly what this was. The final storm before your dawn. And now, as the first light rises, heaven is releasing 3 promises over your life. First, everything that was lost, peace, money, relationships, opportunities, will not only return, it will return better. I am not sending back what left you. I am sending what was meant for you all along. You will understand why certain people had to walk away. You will see why doors closed that you begged me to open. Because if I had allowed them to stay, the conspiracy would have found its way in. I removed some things not to punish you, but to protect you. Now that the danger is over, I am releasing replacements, people who love purely, chances that last, and resources that multiply. You will not chase, what is yours will find you. The enemy tried to delay you. He tried to make you feel like you've wasted years, like you're behind, like others are ahead and you're stuck. But what he didn't know is that I am not limited by time. I am the creator of time. And I can restore what was lost faster than it was taken. So listen, what would have taken you 5 years will now happen in 1. What was supposed to take a decade will be done in months. Because heaven is redeeming your timeline. You are not behind. You are right on schedule, my schedule. You were delayed, yes, but not denied. The pause was protection. Now, acceleration begins. You'll start to see it soon, sudden approvals, unexpected messages, divine opportunities that appear out of nowhere. That's me. That's the proof of restoration unfolding. Your strength will return. Your hope will rise again. Your joy will no longer be temporary. Because I am not just fixing your circumstances, I'm transforming you. The person who walked into the storm is not the same one who's walking out. You are wiser now. Calmer. More focused. Your spirit is sharper. Your discernment is stronger. You see through lies faster. You sense danger before it arrives. You are not naive anymore, you are awake. And because of that, the enemy will never catch you by surprise again. The same traps that worked before will now fail before they're even set. You've leveled up spiritually. You've entered a realm of authority. And now, you will command peace wherever you go. My child, do you feel that warmth rising in your heart right now? That is not emotion, that's confirmation. It's the presence of heaven sealing these words inside you. What you've just survived is no small thing. Very few endure such spiritual wars and still come out with light in their eyes. But you did. Because you were chosen to. You have always been marked, not for death, but for destiny. Not for destruction, but for divine impact. That's why your guardian was assigned such a powerful name. That's why heaven itself intervened. Because your purpose reaches beyond your own life, it touches generations. Your resilience will become someone's reason not to quit. Your story will become someone's roadmap to faith. Your victory will become someone's hope. And now, as this revelation closes, I want to teach you something that will keep you strong in every future battle. The enemy doesn't fear your words. He fears your consistency. He fears your peace. He fears when you keep walking forward even when everything tries to stop you. So from this day, learn to move in quiet power. When people provoke you, stay calm. When situations delay you, stay faithful. When fear whispers, stay grounded. Because silence in the midst of chaos is not weakness. It's proof that you trust me. And trust, my child, is the highest form of warfare. Let me show you one last vision. It's the vision of your guardian, Elion, standing in the dawn light. His sword is no longer raised in battle. It's resting in the ground, like a flag of victory. He looks over your life and smiles. Behind him, a vast field stretches, golden, calm, endless. That field represents your future. It is free of shadows now. The conspiracy is gone. The plan for murder has been buried under light. And your path ahead is open. You may still face challenges, yes, but now, you face them as one who knows the outcome, victory. So here's your final prophetic act. Take a moment, wherever you are, and say these words slowly, with faith. I am protected. I am chosen. My light cannot be hidden. My guardian stands strong. Every dark plan is destroyed. Every divine promise is alive. I walk in peace. I walk in purpose. I walk in power. As you speak, heaven echoes you. Angels record it. Your words become decrees. And the same wind that once carried whispers of conspiracy now carries songs of celebration. The heavens rejoice because another victory has been written, your victory. And now, my child, walk forward without fear. You are covered. You are sealed. You are unstoppable. The war was meant to break you, but it built you. The attack was meant to silence you, but it revealed your voice. The darkness was meant to end you, but it introduced your dawn. Your story will never again be one of fear. It will be one of faith, power, and divine glory. Because the same God who exposed the conspiracy now writes your continuation, and it is titled, The Life That Light Could Not Kill.